New West collaboration.
New West in the building. Yeah. New West is in the building. Yeah. We about to make you bitches feel it. Well, fuck lame niggas and they feelings. Whoa. New West in the building. There go. New West in the building. Yeah. We about to make you bitches feel it. Well, fuck lame
Yo,
niggas.
what is going on? It is Sick here, coming at you again from New West Entertainment to bring you episode number 5 of the SICcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to all the episodes and showing love. It means a lot. I hope you guys are going through and following the artists, and maybe I can expose you to some people you never heard of before and check out some of the people our city has to offer that are doing dope shit. This week's episode is no exception to the rule. The guest this week is somebody who I'm actually relatively unfamiliar with. A friend of New West, but somebody who's I've only recently connected with, and he actually has an EP coming out. I got podcast brain now, but yes, he has an EP coming out this Friday. And in the interview today, you'll see we kind of went through a bunch of his songs through his career that he's released thus far, and you'll see that one of the new songs from his album that he leaks in this episode is like a big step up in his production. His songs will be getting better and better, so I can only imagine the trajectory of his career from here. So without further ado, let's get to the episode. Let's get to know him, and thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it.
Jump on me, little rider. Baby, take your time on me when you fire. Your body is good and your mind on top. My little ice cream with the cherry on top. Jump on me, little rider. Baby, take your time on me when you fire. Your body is good and your mind on top. Vanilla ice cream with the cherry on top. Caribbean get big body on top. African get make the melanin pop. Your body so fine, make me put you on top. On top, yeah. Caribbean get big body on top. African get make the melanin pop. Your body too fine, make me put you on top. On top, yeah. Only me, make her come, and I give her more.
Yes, sir.
Give me more, and I give her more. Not only you, show me love, and I love her more. Kwavvy babe, give me more. And we riding right all night, till the morning bright on mine. And she give me vibes on vibes, make my lady scream all night. And we riding right all night, and my baby screaming high. Sexual healing, and her body's on mine. Hey. Jump on me, little rider. Baby, take your time on me when you fire. Your body is good and your mind on top. My little ice cream with the cherry on top. Jump on me, little rider. Baby, take your time on me when you fire. Your body is good and your mind on top. Vanilla ice cream with the cherry on top. Only me, make her come, and I give her more. Kwavvy babe, give me more, and I give her more. Not only you, show me love, and I love her more. Kwavvy babe, give me more. Jump on me, little rider. Baby, take your time on me when you fire. Your body is good and your mind on top. My little ice cream with the cherry on top. Jump on me, little rider. Baby, take your time on me when you fire. Your body is good and your mind on top. Vanilla ice cream with the cherry on top. Baby, jump on me, go crazy. Oh my baby, you crazy, you go crazy.
Dude, sick video.
Thanks,
That's
bro.
really
Appreciate
good.
that.
No,
Thank
it's super crispy clean. Like all the shots are really well put together.
Yeah.
I love the different locations and stuff all mixed
Yeah.
together. It tells a good story.
Yes, sir.
Dude,
Thanks,
no,
bro.
that's super good video.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
that.
That's sick. Well, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
The SICcast. I'm glad you were able to come by. I'm just gonna pull up my notes. If I'm looking at my phone, I'm not texting. I'm just checking out the rubric of the show here.
Right.
So the first thing I usually used to start with is you should start with your introduction, just let people know who you are, give your plugs and all the places they can find your music, give your YouTube channel and stuff that first. So
of course.
let the people know where to find you, man.
Cool. Also, like, are we on right now?
Yeah, that's
All
the
right.
intro right there into the song.
Okay, let's do it. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So, I'm Kwavvy by name. My real name is Callistus, but I go with Kwavvy, the stage name. So I'm on Spotify. On Spotify, just type Kwavvy, Kwavvy. That's me on Spotify. Then on Instagram, just add I am Kwavvy, the same thing, right? And then Twitter, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Snap as well on the same username, just to make it easy for everyone to find me. So, yeah, yeah.
Sick, man. So, give me just we'll obviously dive into it, but do you want to give the overview, like what you do, like what your bio, like. We're gonna go deep into a bunch of like music questions and stuff like that, but just tell people: do you like clearly recording artist, a rapper? Like, do you produce, you make beat stuff too? Do you like is that your only game?
Yeah, so that's a good question though, because it's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things going on. So for right now, I mix and I master my own sound, right? Like I record my own, like I do the recording on my own, and then I do the mixing as well, and I do the mastering. And the reason why I cannot do that is that I realized that as an upcoming artist, for you to actually stay in the game longer and make it longer on the long run, because it's like there's so many more music to be released. So to be able to keep up with that, like I gotta do it on my own to be able to save costs, right? So like having that thought, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start recording on my own. Like I did a recording in my bedroom, basically.
Yeah.
Do the like a recording right there, and then I mix and master the sound, and
that's
I
where
put
the
it
hits
out.
are made nowadays. Man.
Exactly.
That's the industry now. Like, I don't know if
Exactly.
everybody knows that, but like a lot of these big songs. You tell me if you were balling out of control, you were the biggest artist, you still wouldn't just have a mic on your dresser. You know what I mean? If it hits you, like. That's the way you need. I'm sure those guys are doing it too, right? So I feel
Definitely. Like it's almost like when you look at the guys who have actually made it, like when you look at the guys who have made it, it's like they did it on their own, most of them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like if you go out to pay someone to like mix and master your sound for you all the time. I mean, I'm not saying you cannot do that once in a while, right?
Of course.
But if you do that all the time, oh boy, that's a lot of money that as an upcoming artist, you ain't got that much. Like you're trying to still kind of like build yourself up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just did it on my own.
Yeah. I feel like it's definitely a balance thing, because sometimes if you really got to focus on playing that role, just writing tracks and doing it. But sometimes it's better to say, instead of trying to find somebody else that understands your vision, for you to just do yourself, because nowadays the tools are so easy. You have the ability to do that.
You have it all.
Yeah, but back in the day, you need $100,000 to start up a studio and get all the gear and all this stuff. Like now, you just need like a couple $100 laptop, right?
And one important thing too is that it's funny. Like when I'm mixing my own sound and mastering my own voice, I know where I want to push it to.
Yes.
Right. Like I know exactly how I want to make it sound in each section
before it's even there.
Yeah. Right. It's like if I record a music right now on my own, it's like the chorus, I want the chorus to sound a specific way, and I'll mix it to sound that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And if me and you make a track together, I'll have my own say and input, and I might not take it. And if you try to explain it to me, I might understand it over here, but you really meant like a little to the left kind of thing. You know what I mean? So there's always, sometimes that can be a benefit to music, where you're adding a new flavor, a new chef, get a little new couple like seasonings in there and stuff like that. But sometimes when you really have a vision, when you know what you want, like I think you can be more prolific and and honestly like a little more honest in your music too, right? Because it's really coming from you.
It's coming from the heart.
From the beat
from the heart.
to every knob turn. Like it's really like you're putting the whole package together. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the other, normally we definitely got right into it. So, but the other one is, I think just good context is like how we know each other, and we kind of really don't know each other well. So I'm super excited to get to like interview you, get to know you like right off the bat. It's a good way to meet somebody for sure.
Definitely.
So, but I'd say that just Big Duff put us together at his birthday. And so like that's just I always start with how I know the guests when we get there.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing right off the top before we start getting into like interview questions is I think I like to start with like a headspace check-in, like a vibe check, like where are you at right now? I always say so that like if you come back to look at this interview in 10 years from now, be like, tell yourself then like where your head's at right now, like how you're feeling, because I feel like that's really flavors a conversation,
deep,
and
though.
people don't take time to like
Yeah.
check in on that before we.
Yeah, like you know what? That's a really deep question. Yeah, because like once you like when you said that, I looked ahead like 10 years from now, and I'm like, shit, like how would I react if I'm watching this interview 10 years from now, right? And I think what it is that right now, like honestly, right now I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. I'm just making good music. Um, I'm just growing. Like I know there's a long way to go, right? And I'm like it's okay for me. Like there's no rush. Like I'll take my time. I'll go through those paths. I'll do what I gotta do to be where I wanna be. There's really no destination because it's always like about just keep growing, right? So yeah, for me, I'm just enjoying the process right now. It's funny, like I don't really like think about that a lot. I just just like whatever. I just try to enjoy each moment as it comes, right?
That's life, man. That's a ticket right there.
Exactly. And then eventually when I get like in 10 years time, I could look back and be like, you know what, like I was still doing my thing and I was still living life and now I'm there.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the next 10 years kind of thing.
Understand.
Yeah. So right now I'm just chilling.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
So yeah. So then I'll get into like questions. So I mean, to start, I think we gotta start like from like foundations. So like my first question always like, where are you from? Are you born on this patch of dirt here? And like, if not, how, like what sort of the overview of the journey that brought you to this patch of dirt right here?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually. So I was actually born in Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian. Yeah, my mom and dad both Nigerian. So I came to Canada like 8 years ago.
Okay.
I came here 8 years ago. And when I came, like it was a different culture, right? There was winter here. We never had winter back home.
Yeah.
It's like back home it was always sunny. It's nice. Like people are always outside having a good time,
Yeah.
chilling and having fun always. So it's kind of like it was a little bit of a culture shock when I got here. But then of course you get used to it, right? You adapt to it and stuff.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine coming to like -20 winter when everyone's locked inside for 3 months.
Oh, trust me,
It must make me
man.
go crazy. Like, 'cause I'm an outdoors type person, but I'm from here. So like, if you came from a place where you can be outside all the time and then you're forced to stay inside, it's gotta be so tough.
It's exactly. But like it wasn't that bad though, because I've been here 8 years and COVID was like what, like 2 years ago or something
Yeah.
like that. So it's like I already kind of like adjusted to it before COVID actually hit.
Oh, I never even thought about that. Because if
Yeah.
you're fresh,
Exactly.
that would be really
Oh, if I was fresh, fuck that shit. I'm going back, man. I'm like, yo, find a spell. Fuck. I ain't doing this shit.
that
I'm
ain't it.
going
No,
back.
no. Yeah, it
For
seems
real.
like they had.
Yes,
it's
sir.
real thing, so.
Yeah, but it was a good experience when I got here, actually. Like, people were nice and stuff like that. But it's a little bit different because, like, in Nigeria, it's like people are just always outside screaming, right? It's like New York.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Busy.
no, you gotta, like, there's no noise when you're driving around. You go to, like, the store, it's all quiet and people are just, like, walking around as they do here. No, there's different. Like, someone yells at you from, like, across the road. Yo, bro, what the, like, yo, like, calls you by your name because they know you and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's a little bit different because back there is more of a community.
It's yeah.
So, like, people tend to know each other kind of thing. Yeah, but here's, like, you keep to
You're close
yourself.
off. Stay away,
Close up
stay
kind of
away.
thing. Do your
Which
thing.
is so sad. Like,
Oh boy,
it doesn't have to be
it's
that way,
depression, bro. Honestly, I tell you, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Cause like back home though, like I first heard the word depression when I came to Canada. For real, we don't have the word.
do you have the thing? Do you find a lot of people?
We do not actually. That's the crazy part about it. Cause it's like no matter what's going on, you're always with people, or you're always doing something, or there's just a lot of stuff going on. Like it's so fast
Yeah.
that I don't even think of it.
Yeah.
Right? You're always surrounded with like family, friends.
Yeah. You're supported in ways
in
that
a
you
lot of
never
ways.
be out here. Well, not never, but a lot of. I think that people don't value the same things.
Exactly. And back there, it's like you could be in your home right now, and someone is blasting music next door, and it's okay, right? Because there's no noise control, whatever. Like it's just so noisy that people are just like hustle bustle kind of lifestyle, right? Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, so I want to dive more into like your music roots and stuff like that, and get to like that kind of stuff. So I always like to ask what the first kind of music you were like exposed to as a kid. Like what was in the house growing up, or like did you have any like family members that were into music that exposed you? But like your first things, not the stuff that you were seeking on your own, the stuff that was sort of like around you.
Yeah, that's a good question. So for me, because I grew up with my mom and my dad, like, but because like I didn't really spend that much time with my dad, but it's like I do remember each time we were home, like he would play this sort of like not like like religious tracks, but like close to religious tracks, but the sound was sort of like on a religious scale kind of thing,
Yeah,
but it
like-
wasn't like super religious kind of thing, right? And then my mom, of course, she would have her own like high life, and so there's a genre of music that we call high life
Okay.
in Nigeria, where I'm from. It's Osadebe them. These are like the kings of like high lives, like like Oliver the Kokwe, Bright Chimeze. Like we have like a few of them, but these two guys, Osadebe and Oliver the Kokwe, like it was like I grew up listening to my mom and dad like playing their music most at times, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like anything like religious, because of course it's high life. Yeah, so like I would say that some of my sound actually like comes from there somehow. And then again, my mom, she's super religious. She's
Yeah.
like deep
Is
religious.
Nigeria, would you consider like a religious country? Is it a big?
Nigeria, they're actually super religious. You know what? I'm not
Yeah.
even sure why I thought of that for a second. I was like, what the fuck am I thinking about? But they're super religious,
Yeah.
right? But it's like then you have different like religion, of course, right?
Yeah.
But then Christianity dominates most of the eastern part, and then on the northern part is like the Muslim guys over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like like I would say most of my sounds are like a mixture of like those high lives,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have like the Christian side, which my mom is really into, right? She like plays Christian music a lot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I kind of like got my my love for music from that.
Yeah.
It's funny actually because back in the days, like each time we would like, because my mom, she's so religious, right? She's that person that before you go to bed, the whole family gotta come together and pray.
Yeah.
When you get up in the morning, you ain't doing nothing first until you pray, right?
Yeah.
So it's like each time before we go to bed or before we got up in the morning, during the prayer session, she would tell me to sing during the prayer session. Just because I'm not like I don't know, but each time I was singing and leading during the prayer session, the feeling was different, right? And then yeah, she would ask me to do all those things. So I would say I definitely got my my sound of music from there. And then of course, like as you grew up, it's like you start hearing music on the street, and then you start hearing like different people sing and stuff, and then
Yeah.
of course you develop your own sound as well.
So when you started getting a little older, what was the first kind of stuff that you were gravitating to yourself? Like, do you remember the first CD you ever bought, like for yourself? Like when you got to be like, I like this just for me, because that's I feel like a big moment for people. But I know some people may not, even if it's download or even just that artist that you can think of.
Yeah.
Where you first sort of branched out into making your own musical decision.
Yeah, you know what? That's a deep question. And coming to think of it right now, there's no one person that I would actually say I was like hooked up to, right? But it's like each time I listen to good music, it always hit me. I'm like, damn, this is good.
So it didn't matter what it was.
No matter what it was. That's the thing about me though. I'm so versatile. Like I wasn't just hooked onto one person kind of thing. But like you had the era of like Nayo with like Miss Independent kind of thing. I do remember that song when it came out. I was like so into it. Like it was actually when we had, you know, those little CD tapes when you're like,
They were like a CD, but they were smaller than a CD, right?
exactly, they were really tiny and
I don't remember what they
second.
were- Yeah, I don't remember what they were called though.
Oh boy, it's like if you had that on the street, you were, boy, you were, oh man, you were the one. It's like, cause like you put on your headphones, right?
Yeah.
And then you carry them in your hand and you're walking on the street.
The
kind of thing.
Walkmans, yeah.
The Walkman, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like you've made it. It's like you know what's up. You're the only one that knows what's up on that street, for real. So I don't remember.
But these were the normal size CDs or the small CDs?
like the second ones. I don't know what you call them, but like the second,
Like this big or like
this big.
yeah, okay, yeah, they're like Walkmans. Yeah,
The
yeah,
Walkman,
okay.
and you
I
put seed
understand,
in
yeah.
them and shit. Yeah. Oh man, it was so. Yeah, but I do remember I had some friends back in the days. We would like link up at like the barber shop or we would meet up kind of thing, and we'll have that.
Yeah.
Like showing off. I got this. I got mine too. Like what's up? I will be playing like the Them and everything like back in the days
Yeah.
when Miss Independence just came out. And then along the line, I do remember like Afro beats as well really inspired me. Super, super inspired me. It's crazy. A lot of people don't know this, but so I was actually gonna be a priest at one time
So you were big into the church, eh? Like,
into the church. My mom was super into
Yeah.
it, so it's like and she wanted me like I was like her golden boy. Like I was the one to be a priest and save the whole family kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but like towards that path, it didn't work out. I'm not sure where I was going with this conversation of like before I said the
where
priest.
are talking about like Afro beats and stuff like that.
Afrobeats, exactly. So, when I was in preschool, because like sometimes we would have like our vacations, like when we leave school for like 2 months, we come home, chill with our family, and then we go back to school the next couple months, kind of thing. So I don't remember when I came back at certain moments, like I would listen to like secular music, right?
Yeah.
And Afrobeat was like one of them. I'm not sure if you've heard about techno.
Like the music techno?
No.
No.
The name techno.
We were playing some on Saturday, I heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he actually inspired me a lot because, like, I remember back in the days when I came back from the seminary, I would listen to his songs and I would sing them. I would love him, but my mom wouldn't like that because that's secular music, right?
Yeah.
She wouldn't like that.
So it was a big deal for you to go out and get music. Like it's
It
scary
was.
as a kid, right? When you're
know.
taught like
I know,
Yeah.
and especially because like we Africans sometimes, if you speak to someone who's an African, most of us we grew up with like strict parents. Like it's like your mom wants you to be this, right? If you don't be that which she wants you to be, it's almost like you're a disappointment to the family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I was like struggling between like loving the Afro music and vibing with it, and trying to go back to the seminary and be a priest, right?
yeah.
So it was kind of like conflicting. Yeah, but then at a point, of course, like I didn't go further to be a priest. I'm here. So
I mean, on a certain level, you're still preaching. You
True
still have
though.
a sermon. You
True
still have
though.
like you're still touching the people, right?
Yes,
so there's
sir.
something to it. And I feel like personally, like I love live music and I love music a lot, and I spend a lot of time in my life in music. But music for me gives me a lot of those things that the church gives a lot of people. I feel like
True.
it gives me community. It gives me like purpose and meaning. It gives me like just like a lot of like solidarity with like my fellow people that like are also in the community, because we're all sort of the same mindset. We're all working
Yeah.
towards like a common goal and stuff like that. And it's obviously not as like holy or impactful or as
True.
deep as like a religious experience
But it's
is.
still the same feel
but I
that
mean,
you
we don't
get.
have sermon anymore. And I think like as much as like some of those things, I'm sure a lot of times like, I mean, maybe you loved it, but like when you're having to say prayer every night and have big family hugs or saying
Oh,
grace
man, I
before
hated
dinner,
it.
it's so
I
annoying as
gotta
a
be
kid.
honest.
But
I hated that shit.
a lot of those values we were talking about that caused the difference that we were saying about like what life is like back home and back here is I feel like a lot of the absence of the church, right? And I'm not a super religious person myself, but I see the value that the church brings to the community and to people's lives and stuff like that, which I really think we've lost over here. And like I feel like I get a little bit of that from what I get out of music. Instead of like religion that I would get, because I don't have that part of my community, that part of my like my body and my mind and
Exactly.
stuff,
You
right?
know what? That's deep though, and that's true, right? Because it's funny, because it's like even when I was back home, it's like I would listen to a secular music, like an Afrobeat music, like techno them, because like I grew up with like techno, whiskey when all these guys were coming up, right?
Yeah.
Not really Burna Boy. Like I didn't really hear that much of Burna Boy growing up.
Yeah.
But it was whiskey, techno, Don Jazzy and his crew when he was with like Olamide, not like Don Jazzy being with Olamide, but like Olamide was a different artist, so he was doing his thing too with whiskey. They were making music and everything. So it's funny because the feeling that I got when I listened to those secular musics was the same kind of feel when I listened to a secular, like to a religious music, right? It's just that there were different type of musics, but they made me feel love and they made me feel joy,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like, yeah, sometimes people really like people really try to, like distinguish between the secular and the religious like type of music and the feeling that it actually brings. But in my opinion, I would say honestly, they both make me feel the same way because it just makes me feel like joy and happy and free.
And it's so powerful,
And it's so
right?
powerful,
It's
yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, there is a conversation to be had that there is, like, negative effects of certain types of music. Like, I can see why people may have a gripe against secular music, but I don't think the divide is just between, like, whether it's religious or non-religious means bad, where religious means good.
Means good,
There is secular music that is still beneficial for society, that still has a positive message, that still spreads love, that still spreads connection in the things that the same values that the religious people have, right?
Exactly.
But I think it's that thing that it's so powerful. So you got to wield a sword that sharp with a lot of precision, right?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
it's a tough thing. So man, we went like
We went
really
deep.
on
We went
that
deep
topic.
inside the waters. Deep.
So then you like you said you were singing and stuff as like you were like when you were
doing,
young
like
at
prayer
home
sessions
and
kind of
stuff
thing,
like
yeah.
that, yeah.
Oh, like I'll be the one that my mom would point out to like lead during the singing session, during the prayer session, just because it's like when I sing, she feels a certain way. She feels the Holy Ghost, if
Yeah.
I may use that word.
Yeah.
Like she feels a touch, right? So I mean, sometimes my other siblings they did sing as well during the prayer session, but it was mostly me, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why it was kind of like stuck with her. Like,
Yeah.
no, this guy's gotta be a
the
priest.
one. Yeah.
You're the chosen
You
one.
could see it.
You're the priest, right? So, yeah, man.
So, did you take to music quite young? Like, were you always into making music, or like just singing like through the church and stuff like that? Like, or like when sort of did you start to see like you wanted to create music? You wanted to be the one performing, or like?
So, actually, it's funny because when I was young, I never kind of like, not like I didn't have the drive, right, to like go record or to make my own music, but it was almost like, just like I said, if you're from an African family, you would always want to like please your mom, please your dad, all that kind of stuff. So it's like if they already have a path for you that you got to follow, you don't want to follow the other path or your path because then you feel like they would feel betrayed or they would feel disappointed in you, right? So it's like growing up, I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed like any type of music. It didn't matter what type of music. Once I hear the music, I feel it. I love it because it's good music. I love it. I enjoy it, right? But I wasn't driven to like pursue the secular side of it just because of my mom and what the plans that she kind of like had for me
Yeah.
to be a priest and do my thing on that way. Yeah, I would think that's the biggest reason that I didn't like actually venture into like secular music or trying to find my own sound at a young age. So it wasn't until like 2, 3 years ago that I actually started singing. Yeah, but it's kind of funny because it's almost like I've always been singing inside, but I've just never voiced it out.
Yeah.
Right, until I actually had the freedom when I wasn't gonna be a priest no more. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm a grown ass man. I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then I started like doing my own music, and it was just like easier for me because I really like had the love for music, right? Like the passion, the love, how it makes you feel, even when you listen to a good song. That like it's just crazy how music can like take you from a place of sadness to a place of joy, man. Like, it's the magic behind it is just unexplainable, you know? And that's
Yeah.
really what got me with music. And I'm thinking if music can make me feel this way, I can make good music and make people feel the same way. Yeah. So I didn't started like actually recording my own sound till like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you started making music, you were recording yourself right away, like you said, like.
No, actually, I'll take that back. So when I started making music, because I had this bunch of friends that I live with in Edmonton. One of them is actually a producer. He makes beats. So it's like when I started making music, when we linked up together, we started making music. we would like record ourselves. Actually, we would actually record ourselves, but then we would like send it to someone to actually mix and master.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's different now because I do the whole thing myself.
But that was when you started first,
That was
like
when I started.
writing songs and stuff like that,
Exactly.
and getting
Yeah.
into like, damn. Okay, so then you sent it like, when you first went from, actually, I think we skipped over a chunk. So like when you once you grew up, like before you started making music, but once you like came to Canada, did you have any other influences of like music that really like, do you have stuff like, I have a theory that a lot of people tend to continue with the music that they listened to in high school. Whatever was popular when they were in high school, like the first music they really attached themselves to. Most of the people in my family and a lot of the older people that I've worked with, I see that when they get in their car to drive home, the bands and the music and stuff that they're listening to is the stuff that they were listening to when they were in high school. When you go to the bar, they're still like playing the same music they were playing at that, like those people's bar when they were in high school, right?
Exactly.
But now they just moved to like a sit down bar for older people, right? But it's that music kind of follows people through time. So like, that's just the one piece I feel like of your sort of like musical trajectory. Like, did you have like sort of, once you were more into like the secular side of music and exploring things yourself, did you have music that you got into like over here?
I would say that because like music with me is always a growing thing, right? It's always a growing thing. Of course, like I get inspired, and I kind of like got my sound from, because it's funny because like you're listening to like a bunch of music that you like, but then like subconsciously you're picking sounds, and then when you eventually make yours, it's like you're tapping into all those musics that you've listened to, and now you create your own sound, right?
Yeah.
So for me, there wasn't like, I wouldn't say there was one genre of music, or there was one like moment or like a specific time that I got stuck with. Yeah, because for me, it's always been about growth,
That's
right? So, of course, I did get inspired, like, listening to, like, the like of technos, like I said, and P Square. Growing up, P Square was, like, really, like, out there popular. Timaya, them, all those guys. But then, like, eventually, as I listened to them, I didn't get stuck with them. I got my own sound, and I was still searching for like other artists that actually make music as well. Because it's funny, with music, I'm versatile, super versatile. Like I don't just stick to one and say, oh, I love this genre, that's it. If I hear good music from a country music, the melody is just insane. It gets my attention. I listen to it. Right. I try to see how he flows with the melody. I try to see how he creates that magic. Yeah. So for me, it's always been a growing thing.
That's cool. I'm the same way. Like I very much love new music and like to see like the new stuff that's coming on. I'm always growing. I'm trying to like get as wide grasp of every different style and type of music as I can. But I don't think that that's the common thing. I think that's a thread because we're artists.
Exactly.
We're part of that. Like creation.
Some people get stuck with what they know, and that's it.
Or they just find what they like. You know what I mean?
Find what they like and they stick to it.
Oh, I found. You know what I mean? They don't need to go anymore.
Explore,
But some people, I don't know. Maybe just I'm never satisfied, so I have to keep
As
like
an
how
artist,
much can I
it's
learn? So I guess the other one I was gonna ask, like, what brought me back to that was like when you got into making music, if you had specific inspirations for who you were trying to sound like when you first started making stuff. But I imagine you kind of answered that already by saying it's sort of just. It's everybody. It's an amalgamation. It's a little, and it's not. You can't pinpoint exactly what you take from this artist and that artist. It's just you know you'll have a little bit of like influence from this person and this person, and then in your whole like your whole like vocabulary or your repertoire of songs and influences, then each one of those is 0.1% of what your output is, right?
Exactly.
Like, so I can't really say.
No, for me, like it's always been that way. Like there's no one person right now. I mean. Like some people would say you sound like this person, you sound like this person, but I do not want to put myself in that box. Just because in my head when I'm making music, I'm not trying to sound like one person, right? I'm just being
you can't
like
be the
versatile.
B version, right? You can't be like the B version of Drake, or you can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't.
Exactly.
You're never gonna be that guy
No.
if you're trying to be the B version or the copycat or the knockoff,
Exactly.
right? You want
or
to
you
be
make
the
a
Walmart
song and
version.
someone be like, it sounds like Drake. You're like, no, bro. I want to get my own sound.
Yeah, because you'll go listen to Drake if you want to listen. To
Exactly.
Drake. You might
Like,
get a
why
couple
would you-
streams. But
Exactly.
long term, like that's. I feel like that's definitely.
Yeah.
So the main like purpose of the podcast is really just to talk about a song that really means something to you. So some people play just a song that they that like either like that was with them at a time in their lives that really important to them, something that's just like deep and impactful for them, or they'll play their own music that has a song that has like some sort of special meaning to you, whether that's just it brings you back to where you were at the time that you made that song, or if it's like the messaging behind the song that you think you want a little bit more like clarity, just some sort of song we can sort of like dissect and talk about. So we'll play it, but it's up to you, whatever you want to play, whether it's like a song that just meant something to you. But the whole purpose of the show is just to get the background and then bring up a topic that we can talk about of a song that just really, really means something to you. Whether it's your own or somebody else's.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so hard. Because there's like so many good songs that I
Yeah, we can do 3 if you want, man. This is your episode. It's all about you.
Cool. Okay. Okay, so I would have to start, of course, with my song first.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll listen to it, and the viewers will get to hear it too. It'll be in the video.
Perfect. Okay, so I call this the classic. I call it a classic because we made this song like 2 years ago. Yeah, I believe 2 years ago, and it was like one of my first ever music video shoot that we actually did.
Like a full production.
Full production, like first time, like professional music video shoot, like cameras and all that stuff. It was the first one. So I can give you the name right now.
Yeah. We'll put. Is it on your channel or?
Yeah. Yeah.
It can either go there and pull it up, or we can search it up if you want.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to, I don't know if you smoke. But...
Ah, man, this shit fucks me up.
Yeah.
This shit, if I smoke this shit, I'm just gonna be like this.
Yeah, I feel you.
For real, shit's crazy. But I only smoke though when I'm like if I'm making music.
Yeah.
It's different.
Oh, it's like a cheat code.
Inspiration.
Yeah,
Exactly. It takes me places where I'd never even like imagine. So. Yeah. So if you
Is this your
type
channel?
Kilo Day, no, that's not mine.
Because I'm like, I've seen a bunch of these videos.
Yeah, no, that's on my leg.
Oh, I see what happened. This is not your video I clicked on. I didn't even notice. I didn't even read it. This one.
Yeah, that one, yeah. So it's Kilo Day, keep going right. Oh, should be the first video. So the first one at the bottom, yeah, that one, yeah.
Vibes on Gilly Gilly. Boy,
It's Kwavvy, baby. Sweet boy vibes.
I know that, baby. You know that. Baby, get where you live.
Like I'm loses, yeah. Back in the day when who been they cruise me, yeah. Look at me now, saying I mean them they choosing, yeah. Even Yoshima won't give me her coochie, yeah.
Baby, get where you live. She wanna live in a pussy, yeah. See this fine, she might get it all juicy, yeah. That banana so sweet like a goosey, yeah. She wanna live in a pussy, yeah. I know that
I be bad boy and I get this kind of vibe. We go make Shima go live a 5 guys. He go be like one chance once you heard that is right. He go shock you, he go be like guy. Baby, waka la mishima. Baby, waka la mishima. Oh baby, waka la mishima. Hi, la mishima. Hi. Chimamanda, be the kind guy. Where they blow trees on the sky high. I be bad boy, I be die hard. I get you high, you feel like you skydive. Baby, see, I define Shima. We be bad girl, but she fit cook dinner. We go bump the king, she go be my nigga. She go love me for a very long time. Sigh, hi.
you know that. Baby, get where you live.
like John. I see the way you looking at me and you tight John. So bust it up for me. She wanna dip in her pussy, yeah. See this fine, she might get it all juicy, yeah. That was like so sweet like a goosey, oh yeah. She wanna dip in her pussy, yeah. I know they lie, mom, kilo it, yeah, mom. Baby, get where you live. She wanna dip in her pussy, yeah. See this fine, she might get it all juicy, yeah. That would make me so sweet like a goosey, oh yeah. She wanna dip in her pussy, yeah. I know they lie,
It's crazy though. It was cold. It's like you would never. When you watch the video, like you don't know how cold it was out there, but it was just like we were just trying to be done, like shooting the video outside. We're like, damn, too cold, man.
Man, that's so sick though. Like just I see just like the. Are you just Airbnb? Like locked up one
He was
spot.
Airbnb,
And, but
yeah.
then the other shot is out in the parkade in the cold,
In the
right?
pocket, yeah.
Yeah, but other like that's just two shots. That video's sick, and it's just two spots like that. Like, it looks good.
Yeah,
man.
thanks,
It's
bro.
cool. You can,
Thanks. It's crazy because that Airbnb, we actually like one of the guys who booked the Airbnb, which was our friends and stuff. His account got blocked after that Airbnb. 'Cause, oh boy, it's
Too
too
much.
loud, you know.
Yeah.
Partying and shit. It was
You gotta-
crazy.
It's what it takes to get the videos.
It is
done.
what it is. Yes, sir.
But that no. So what would you say? Like you came out the gate swinging. That's a. Have you seen some other people's first videos?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what it is though is that just like I said, the love for music, right? My love
Yeah.
for music, honestly, like I think music is my first love, for real. Music is my first love. Like it's what actually taught me how to love. Like it taught me how to feel, or it taught me kind of like when I feel love, how I know that I feel love, right? Because it's like the joy that I get from music, kind of like created like this pedestal that oh, if I feel this way with music, if I feel this way with someone, I can link that both. It taught me what love is.
Yeah.
Right. So
Wow.
it's almost like when before we actually did this video or when we did the video, we were just like we were at it, like we were on the point, like already.
Like and when you think back to like that moment when you were like making that song and like the energy and stuff that's around there, and
Man,
it's
the energy was crazy. It was good energy.
yeah,
You know,
and it's one of
good
those things
vibes.
like you almost just like time flies when you're having fun.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like
I
it's
know.
like you could like I those things like that's the thing I love about music and making things and creating is that you have these touchstones that you can be in. It's like, man, I'm there. I remember, even though it's not the same feeling, you can put yourself back in that mind stone because it's the same way as having like a photo album or a scrapbook. But the music is just so much more powerful because you know where your head was at when you wrote those lyrics. You know where you were at the day, like you pulled up to the studio and you had shit to do, and then you're there when you're like, oh, like, and you're lining up the Airbnb and you're calling everybody, okay, get out here. Like, oh, you got this. Like, okay, oh, you got, and then you get out there and like all the things that you have to go through to get. Oh, amateur hour.
That's okay. That's cool.
But like all the things you have to go through in those days and how busy those days are, and just like the.
That's cool.
But just I'm saying, just like the energy and stuff that you
Yeah.
have to be there and like having music to be able to put yourself back into those places and those
Yeah,
things.
no, honestly, it's amazing though.
You
Because it's
float
funny, because like even when I actually wrote the song, it's like I can't even remember. Like I can't actually remember what was going on because it was so fast.
Yeah.
Like I was just enjoying the moment and time was just flying. Like, yeah, it was a good time.
And when you see it now, it's like it shows just sort of like I say this a lot about like live music. It's like, but it's like a lightning in a bottle thing. You can't capture it. It's that whatever the fourth dimension is, whatever.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
is
I mean?
actually.
I can't like
100%. Because it's like I look at songs like this that I made, I'm like, wow, like I was like it was a good time.
Yeah.
Like it was a good time. I was just having fun. And it's crazy because songs like this is like it create memories, especially for me, right?
And for the people that get
And
to
for the people
enjoy
who
it.
actually exactly at that point because they listen to it and then just like I said, it's one of the classics, right? Because it's one of the first songs that I ever made.
Yeah.
So it's like people back in the days when they listen to it now, and it's been like 2 years, they're just still like, damn, like back in the days. And it's funny with music. It's funny how like music has the power to make certain memories stick, right? Just because you're listening to this specific music and something happens, now that event is stuck with you.
Yeah.
Because of that music. Each time you hear that music, it brings back that memory.
It's like how you can remember smells and stuff like that. Like you hear a song and you remember where you're at when you first heard it.
Exactly, when you first heard that song.
Yeah. And
amazing.
it puts you back in there, and it's like it's almost more powerful than a drug, like because it takes your whole conscious and everything about you, and it just like changes your state of mind. You know what I mean? Based on just like a couple familiar sounds and a nice rhythm and like a couple of different sly words and some
Yes,
poetry,
sir.
right? Like it's the most powerful thing on
It's
earth.
powerful. It's huge, honestly.
Yeah, and I think that like as artists, I think you really like personally blew my mind with the concept of like the pedestal that puts on your life, and like you when you like that relationship that you have with music, and the way that like how like important and how impactful that this music shit is on me and my being and stuff like that. I never really like related to like my understanding of love and stuff like that. I just wanted to note that's like one of the deepest things. And it's fucking
No, of
you
course,
blow my
of
mind,
course,
man.
of
Like,
course. No, for real.
that's incredible.
It helped me define what love is, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some of the deepest shit I ever heard. If I had a drink out of right now. So I'm gonna check like the notes one more time, but I think that's really like the main thing. So I have like a couple bonus questions. So I when I started doing these interviews, I just took a note, like pad on my phone here. Whenever I had an idea, just a question to throw up, but I only came up with like really one random question so far. So I just have one bonus question I'll throw in at the end, kind of oddball interview question. So
EP.
Oh, I'm gonna get you to plug everything at the end, and we'll cut that. But so you want to play one of the tunes from the EP?
Yeah, I got it on my phone, but I'm not sure how we could. Like,
Do you have Apple or AirDrop, or is it Android?
It's an Android.
You don't have the link. You just have the download.
Yeah, I have it like on my like an MP3 file, basically. So I'm not sure if you have like what do you call this stuff?
Basically, I'm good at baby. I make good things for me. Hypnotize me, hypnotize me. Your body looking good, baby, so good. I'm getting mad and what I'm so cool. Hypnotize me, baby. Your body look foreign. Yves Saint Laurent on you so good. I'm falling deep and it's so good. Hypnotize me, baby. Put me on trial. Shoot me, got me, put me on fire. Throw me, dump me, or you throw me outside. Use me, brush my house, spit me outside. You catch me like that. Anywhere you go, I go find you. I put no one beside you. Singing love songs for you. I want, baby, take me there, take me Taiwan. Now your body ready, give me iron. The things I need, the things I want. Yeah, your body, they give me iron. Baby, you get hypnotizing, baby. Let inside you. Now where I go spend all my data. Baby, beside you. Nobody there. The things you do. They make bad man rough you and rage you. And you know I like so G make you give me back. Then you walk out, hypnotize me. Your body looking good, baby, so good. I'm getting mad and what I'm so cool. Hypnotize me, baby. Your body look foreign. Yves Saint Laurent on you so good. I'm falling deep and it's so good. Hypnotize me, baby. Angelica, be the one for me. Baby, you're the one. I don't sing in many songs. Play my heart for you. She said, bad man, do it for me. She want follow me go Johnny. Kwavvy baby on the one for me. Then we walk and go and go. Hypnotize me. Your body looking good, baby, so good, so good. I'll get it better, what I'm so good. Hypnotize me, baby. Your body look foreign. Yves Saint Laurent and you so good, so good. I'm falling deep and it's so good. Hypnotize me, baby. The things I do, the things I want. Baby, take me now and do me Taiwan. Now your body where they keep me iron. The things I need, the things I want. Yeah, your body they give me iron. Baby, you're hypnotizing, baby.
No slide on like any of your like old tunes or anything, but like your structure and your songwriting here, and like the flow and the way it carries you there. Like I think your writing has matured a lot. Like
Thanks, bro.
I think this EP is gonna do wonders for you. And
Appreciate
thank
that,
you
man.
for like leaking it out first. And,
appreciate
like,
that.
it's really like I think people that know you, that have been following you, are gonna see that for sure. That it's like a big step up, and like it's gonna be. Oh man, once the videos come out for these and stuff like that, so dude, I'm very excited for you because like that's sick. So thank you for leaking those.
Thanks, man.
tracks,
Definitely.
dude.
It drops on Friday. The EP drops.
Ooh.
4 songs. I got 4 songs on it. So, and that's the first on the track. First song on the EP. So
3 more, yeah. You got
Yes,
it.
sir.
So yeah, run the plugs one more time. Where are they gonna find the album? Where can they follow you? Want to find?
all right. So of course I'm mostly on Spotify. So on Spotify I am Kwavvy, Kwavvy, Kwavvy. You type Kwavvy, you're gonna see me. My songs are gonna be there. Once the EP drops on Friday, the EP is gonna be there as well. On Apple Music, same thing, Kwavvy. Spotify, same thing, Kwavvy. I just try to make it like easy, not complicated.
Yep.
So you could use one name, search me everywhere and find me. Yeah. So just Kwavvy on every platform. But on, of course, Instagram, I have it. I am Kwavvy as well. So IAMKWAVVY. Yeah. On Twitter, I'm on Twitter as well. I'm on Snap as well. So yeah.
Find you everywhere.
Yes, sir. Everywhere.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
One last bonus question is so live music is like my favorite thing in the whole world. Like it's just, I think it's super special because there's so many times that I've been just in these like atmospheres with like, it doesn't matter, 30, 40, 50 people, 300 people, 3,000 people, but it's so like impactful, and I can even like pinpoint back to like moments in my life that have changed from like these things, like just super powerful moments with art and like the place like that. And so I look at like a lot of the music that I really appreciate because of like things being so global and getting to see stuff everywhere. And I being like from Calgary, we don't always get to see a lot of like my favorite artists and stuff that actually make their way up to Canada to come to play a city like this. We're just not big enough to sell enough tickets for them to bother to come.
Sure.
Here. If they do come, it's usually Edmonton, and you really got to commit to going to see a concert like that or something like that. So if you had the ability at any point in time in like history, in the past or the future, or even hypothetically just like an artist that you love like at a certain time in their career, is there any live show you would like die to go to? Like if you could see like your favorite artist's like first show, or like their first come up, or like a really big show that they did, or even like I know a lot of places have like festivals and stuff like that where there's big lineups where it's like a number of different people playing together, or like just some piece of live music experience that you wish you could have lived through, or you did, or you would like to in the future.
That's a good question. Got me thinking. Definitely got me thinking. So honestly, right now for live music, so you mean like my favorite person to see perform a live?
But it doesn't have to be like in the future. You could say like you want to see like Bob Marley in his hometown. You could say you want to see like, you know, it could be from the past,
could be like
future,
anyone.
or like a big event. Or
Okay.
like,
I got one for you, Michael Jackson.
oh,
bro, Michael Jackson or them.
What would you like? You want to see like a Super Bowl performance or something where it's like huge production, or just
Yes,
like
sir.
you want to see like an intimate show with him? Like,
You know what? Honestly, even a small like performance I would love that. Just cause like growing up, like watching his music, it's always been like, wow, like this guy, man, how can you do it all? Be the best singer, the best dancer. It's like he just embodies music. You look at him and you see music, right?
Yeah.
He defines it by what he does and how he moves and everything.
yeah,
So it's like, oh man,
and
I
it was
would
his
die.
whole life.
His whole life was built around, not even around, but in it.
Yeah,
Like he was it.
yeah.
Like, he was music.
He almost didn't exist. Just the music existed more than he did.
More than he did,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
that's the thing that I think he said is like he was more, like he was worth more like dead than alive because he had so he if he would have stayed alive and got out of his record deal, he would have been the music industry.
He would have.
He owned it all
100%.
and was the biggest, most powerful, influential person in the entire world and completely
Till this day.
independent.
Till this day.
cent would have went in his pocket. He would have owned the entire music industry.
Yes, sir. No, 100%. I totally believe that. Like Michael took music, and of course he's one of my like first actually. Cause it's funny, cause when I actually was growing up, I was probably like 5, 6. His music, like me and my brother and or like my other siblings, who would just be like floating around doing the crush thing that he does and the moonwalk and shit, right? So it's like his music was just, oh man, I don't even know how to like describe it. It's like it was ingrained in us, right? It was
Yeah,
just like
at that time.
ingrained in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it's like those short like clips that he would have before like the main song, like he would do like a short like movie scene
Yeah.
where he gets chased on the bike by like this like cartoonish like kind of like characters kind of thing. So it was amazing, man. Michael's just, man, it's a legend. I can't even compare. Like if there's gonna be anyone who's gonna come up in the future who's gonna do what he has done, or even like who would even do more, I can't even say more because saying more is almost like impossible for me to say that they would do more than he's done, but on the same level that he's like actually operated on musically, I would love to see that person.
Yeah,
I
and
would
to
love
see
to
that
see that
whole
artist.
thing live, like the actual, like the dude there singing and dancing and doing
Boy.
it like that.
He was,
And this is before, like nowadays you see artists, they just like lip sync because they're not actually lip syncing, they're saying it into a microphone, but they're just the song they play on the radios playing, where he's there with a band, and
With the
playing,
band, with
and
everything,
singing,
the
and
actions, the
dancing,
movies.
backup dancers, and this we're talking like the 80s, and they have fireworks and lights, camera, action, choreography, 12 people, a live band. Like I couldn't imagine putting that stuff together.
honestly, when you think of it, imagine Michael performing in this modern day with the same what we
Like
have
the
now,
technology
the
now.
technology and everything. Oh boy, I don't even know. Like
Even he'd be old. I don't know if he'd have the athletics if his, because a life of putting your body through that, being a dancer like that, unless you're like tip top. Like I think ultimately that's why he's not around anymore, is because they fucking drove that guy into the ground. He worked like through that stuff. I couldn't imagine how hard that lifestyle even is, but it's also the physicality of like dancing.
I know.
and shit like that.
I know, I mean, it's crazy. Like every artist that you speak to today, they almost say he inspired them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like in one way or the other, he just touched people's life, and I think that was his purpose in life, just to come touch people's life and
Yeah.
give people like purpose and deep. Because for me, I got a lot from Michael Jackson. It's like, and it's funny because when I'm singing, like sometimes when I'm recorded, I tell myself, if Michael Jackson was here, how would he want to record on this beat?
Yeah.
Because I know him, like he just comes from a place of love.
I have a little tidbit on his recording process. Have you ever seen anything about his recording? So when I was in like recording school, they talked about like comping, and the way they taught us about like what comping was is from Michael Jackson. When he would record a song, he would go in the booth and he would record the song like 100 times. Wow. Front to back. And then the producers would take each clip and they would listen to them and they would rank each individual word. So they had a spreadsheet and they had 1 to 100 of each take that he did, and they would listen. Okay, play track 1, the first word, and I'd be like, and then they'd listen to 100 of them and be like, okay, 14 was good, 18 was really
What
good,
the
6
fuck?
was shit, this one's the best. Okay, so we're gonna pick this. Okay, next word, and they would go to the next word, and they would play. All right, play track 1, and they would play 1 to 100, and they would be like, okay, the second word in, and they would take out of 100 takes, they would take the best individual word of each 100 takes,
Exactly.
and then put just the best individual word from 100
shit.
into the final.
The main vocal.
Yeah,
Damn.
like they worked, and
It showed.
this is before computers. They're doing this on pieces of tape.
Yeah. So like it's almost like they were like manually doing it.
They were doing
'Cause,
it
like,
on a
there wasn't
reel-to-reel
that
machine.
technology.
Like, so they had how we have infinite tracks in the DAW now. When they did this on tape, they only had 4. So you would have like, if you were doing, you would have like your guitar, your bass, your drums, and then you would take those 3 and you'd put them down onto the one track. So now you have 3 left. So then you could do like main vocals, backup vocals, and then like ad libs, and then you could bake those down. But now you can only do 3 at a time, and then you'd have to bake that down into the 4th track. That's how tape used to work back in the day. So they would have like 100 pieces of tape to listen to. They would cut out the individual words, put them like back
Holy,
together.
man.
Like I
think
don't know
it's like-
how like the technicalities of exactly how they do it, but they were doing this before computers.
Damn.
I don't know. Maybe that was post
That's
because
crazy,
he
though.
was. I don't know what. Do you know what year his last album would have been recorded?
I think
don't
that's the one he was. The name was "This Is It" or something.
Yeah, but you know what year that would have came out?
That was probably 2000, and because I think he died 2005, 2006.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that like digital recording only came around in like 98, 2000. It was it was like it only like got to like be good enough for the industry around 2000. I mean, I'm sure it was around and people were like developing it before that, but like it
Yeah.
weren't really.
Wow.
So I
That's
imagine that
crazy.
was all before computers.
Damn, that's amazing. And honestly, one thing I picked from Michael, I mean, not even, it's like one minute thing that because you can't pick from that dude. It's like crazy. It's like he's like a god. But it's like the one thing is just the work ethic, right?
Yeah,
And because for me right now, no matter like if I'm recording a song, if it doesn't sound the way it sounds in my head, I'm not going with that. I'm taking that off. Like, it has to be that, or it's got to be on that point. Just like you say, like he would like have all these vocals, and they would go through 1,000 vocals and pick from each the best word.
The word,
The word.
not like not the bar,
Not the bar, but
or
word.
or the verse.
Oh boy, that's good. Like if you make a song like if you actually do that and the song comes out of that, that's a classic, man.
Oh, I mean,
There's no way it ain't gonna hit hard.
I would say it's not 100% chance you make a good song, but I don't think there's any like you gave the idea the absolute best chance it could. You gave it
Exactly.
all of like
And knowing who Michael is too, because it's like Michael's worst could be my best, man.
Exactly.
Like you know
That's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying. It depends
And then imagine when he put all those, and then they tend to pick the best. That's like magical. That's angelic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
angelic.
And
Because
that's
like I've watched his show, right? Like the show that they had on Netflix. I watched it like when he was in the studio. It's like music hits that dude differently. He feels music differently than we even do.
Yeah, I've never
He tells you he hears the kick, it makes him do a certain thing. The kick like tells him to do a certain thing. It's almost like he's living the life of the sound
but that's been him since he was
a little kid. Exactly.
that's
Yeah. No, honestly, Michael was just a gift to the word. That's how I see it. And that's the reason why he probably didn't live long. Like he was just here, like enlightened, and then you're gone.
the brightest candles burn the
Brightest.
shortest.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm grateful for him though, because I mean, like he really inspired me. Yeah.
Crazy.
Definitely inspired me. Even like when I'm performing right now, before I get on the stage, I'm just always like trying to tap into his energy.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that compares
Oh no.
today.
No.
Like, I mean,
He's the greatest performer of all time. He is.
But I don't know. I would say the closest thing that we probably have is maybe this is I really have no idea, but I would guess that like K-pop and stuff is very inspired by Michael Jackson. Because if you look at K-pop and how big production and the sing and song and dance, like you're saying, if Michael Jackson was around today, I bet you it would be probably pretty similar to the stuff like the Korean pop music stuff, like the big. Have you seen any? Have you seen any of that?
I gotta actually check it out because I've heard of them. Is it that the group?
No,
the group?
it's Korean pop music is okay.
Okay,
Korean,
pop.
and there's a bunch of different artists. There's like one big group that you've probably seen on social media.
Yeah, I think I've seen them like going around for
BTS, I think.
interviews. Yeah, there's
And-
5 guys or 4 or something.
Yeah, I don't really know a ton about it, but it's just when you see those videos, they're huge stadium shows with like singing, dancing, landmarks, choreography, and fireworks, and like it's very much. And I imagine that those people that are doing that in 2022 are inspired and learned and
100%
got there
by
from the
Michael.
stuff he was doing in the 80s.
Definitely.
Right?
Because, man, Michael would like bring a video shoot that he did, and he would relieve that video on his live performance.
Yeah,
She was crazy.
like a
He
football
brings the
player likes
trailer.
to watch, like
Exactly.
or like a wrestler or something.
It's like he makes a whole movie, like he makes a whole like thriller. He makes thriller, and it's
Yeah.
a hit. And he
Yeah.
comes on live performance. He brings thriller to the live performance.
Yeah. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
it was
yeah.
magical, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I when I was a kid, I got to see like a Michael Jackson impersonator show where people all like dressed up as Michael Jackson. They did like a bunch of his songs and stuff like that. And so like I never really thought about it too much because that's what I remember it as is just this corny little like thing that like people just doing like a tribute show or whatever.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine seeing like the real thing and the real dude, especially when it was like so groundbreaking and revolutionary and like the first time anybody had ever done something like that on the planet. Right?
Yes, sir.
Like,
Yes, sir. No, honestly, and I do feel like most of my, just like I said, like my work ethic in terms of like music making is 100% Michael.
Damn.
Honestly,
Yeah.
100%.
I don't think that'll ever fail you.
I mean, I'm sticking to that. 100%. I'm sticking to that path. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He enlightened me in so many ways that I can't even like express. Yeah. He's unbelievable. Michael is unbelievable.
All right. Well, is there anything else we didn't cover? I think.
I think we actually did cover, honestly, everything. Yeah, we covered everything. So you will come to my EP dropping session.
Yeah. Check it out.
If you're in Calgary,
Right.
come check it out. We're gonna be dropping it on my birthday, just like I said, on the 18th of November. That's on Friday. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna have a good time, and pull up, come have a good time.
Sweet. All right. Pull up.
Blessings, yo.
Yeah. Stay blessed.